This
Recorded.
conference
There
will
it is.
now be recorded.
Yes, it's saying that.
New time delay. All right. Well, welcome. Let's see. Let's start with Rebecca. How are you doing? What's any update on you? What's
Yeah, I'm
going on?
actually I'm in a hotel room in Rochester. Tomorrow morning I'm going to have a series of tests at the local hospital, Strong Memorial. I'm going to have I'm not exactly sure what the first one is. It's some kind of heart scan, a perfusion study, and then I'm going to
Hmm.
have a PET scan in the later in the morning. So this is the first one I've had since January. And actually feeling decent now. I had been going through like different waves, it seems, of this arthritis.
Mm.
Um, and having to take a lot of prednisone, and I've now gotten myself down to about 10 milligrams a day, hoping I can go lower than that. Um, and I'm now on Humira that I take as an injection twice a month. Um, so
Is your prednisone? Are you pulsing that? Just jumping to 10 for a while to get symptom relief, or are you on long-term dose?
Well, no, it was higher than that. Actually, I went up to 30, then to 20, then to 10, and then I think I had to go back up to 15. And now it finally seems to be settling down, and I'm hoping, um, I don't know if I dare go down to 5. I might consult my rheumatologist and see what
Go
he.
slow between 10 and 5. Because somewhere around 7, your adrenals have to wake up, especially if you've been on prednisone for a while.
Yeah, yeah, and I've been on it for a year now, so
Okay, so that's not. I was on it longer than that, and I still tapered extremely slow when I got down below 15. You get a bottle of 1 milligrams, and you're just doing prednisone math every morning.
I need some more little ones. I have tens. I need to contact them and see if I can get them. Yeah. It seems strange to me that I'm the one who gets to decide how much prednisone I'm taking. With other drugs, it seems like the doctors tell me what to take, and I mean, I might reject their advice, but they tell me how much, and um, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm feeling decent now, which is nice.
Your energy seems good right now. That's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, I have more energy, I think. So I'm
So
tired.
how are you getting along with prednisone?
How am I getting along with it?
Ah,
It's not good for my bones. I recently had a bone scan that showed my osteoporosis has gotten worse.
right.
So I'm going to talk to my doctor at the end of the month and ask her if she thinks that there's something I should be taking to help improve my bone density. Um, the only thing she said was weight bearing exercise. And
Exercise. Yep.
yep,
Walking, moving. Going to the gym and doing light weights. Just keep going. Keep on moving.
yeah,
It's
I've been
important.
trying. I also have really bad knees. So um, entirely aside from
Have
sarcoidosis.
you tried like qigong or tai chi in front of your computer? They're real
No,
slow, controlled movements, but you move your whole body.
hmm. I did do qigong about 25 years ago, and I loved it. And then I moved to
It's new.
Israel, and I couldn't find like a qigong teacher. So, but I guess
Thank
you're right.
God for YouTube.
That's true. I could look on YouTube.
Serious,
I
yeah.
never think of that. Yeah,
There's hundreds of them. Yeah, I do the same thing with meditations and body weight exercises. There's some good stuff out there.
yeah, yeah.
Like Kathleen was talking earlier about sarcoidosis and exercise, how important it is. It
Yeah, I've
all
gone to a couple of talks on that.
it seems to like just crush your energy sometimes when you get in that fatigue state, and it's like I don't want to move. I don't feel like moving.
And
But
also, if everything hurts,
yeah,
the thought of like lifting weights is.
Do you have like exercise intolerance? It's like when you start moving, it's just like, oh no, I don't want to do this.
No,
You
I
don't
don't.
get that resistance. I get that sometimes. Like when I go
No,
out for
no,
a
it's
bike
just that
ride, sometimes I gotta
if
convince
I'm
myself for the first five
if I'm
minutes, and
really
then forget it.
achy, then it's hard to do anything that I might think that might make me. All I just want is to lie down. But I'm feeling pretty good now, and I actually did use light weights the other day.
Good. I wish you continued success on the upward trajectory you have right now.
Thank you.
What are they looking for in the PET scan
It's heart.
for your heart?
It's in January. There was no active inflammation in the heart, or in my lungs, or in my spleen. So
That's
that's
great.
fine. Yeah.
And you're on 30 milligrams at the time?
I don't even know what I was on. I had been taking an infusion of Inflectra several times, and that seemed to really help. Then I had a negative reaction to it, and I tried Remicade, and I was allergic to it. And then they put me on Humira starting in late February.
Well, thank God for insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if it wasn't for insurance. Although I think with Humira, I had this really high copay, which I paid a couple times. And then I found out that I could apply to the manufacturer
Like a rebate,
for a
price
rebate.
break. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's good to know.
Yeah, I have a friend who was using it for rheumatoid arthritis, and I don't know if she had to get a rebate for the whole thing from the manufacturer or if it was the copay because she's on Medicare. Um, but yeah, it's definitely worth trying that out.
Anything else you'd like to share right now before we go on to another one?
Thank you for asking. I think I'm fine.
Sure. Great. James, you're looking good.
Well, thank you.
It's been a couple of months. Give us an update. How are you?
Okay, well, I had some good news, and I'm actually going to bank off of Rebecca because I had a PET scan 2 weeks ago, and it came out completely clean. And this is in addition to the one I had a year ago that came out clean.
Wow.
So
Whoop.
a year ago, I told my doctor I want to stop taking methotrexate, and boy, he fought me tooth and nail. But I finally tapered down, and he called me after, we got the results of the PET scan and said, "Okay, you win." He didn't say those words, but
Right, right.
he said, "Stop taking methotrexate and do a month worth of folic acid, and then stop that." So, woohoo!
Nice.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I I don't know why. I didn't really have, unlike prednisone, I didn't really have outward problems with methotrexate, but it was subtle. You were talking about bike ride. I noticed when I rode on Monday when I took my methotrexate, it just wasn't all there.
Hmm.
So it has to have some effect.
Sure. It's
I
very
know.
hard on your liver.
Yeah,
Like
right.
when I started methotrexate, right after I started prednisone, um, it blew up my liver enzymes,
Oh, wow.
and I had to stop it right away. And it took them months to recommend a tertiary. I ended up with Cellcept, and that did the trick for me.
But it's interesting, the diet that probably you had to go on, Rebecca. It's
For the
only,
PET scan.
yeah, you can't have any sugar whatsoever.
So weird.
It's
At least,
it's no carbs at all.
yeah, for 3 days.
Yeah.
And
For
I
three
was
days.
walking in there going like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 days.
Well, I had to do it only for a day.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Good.
starting last
You're
night.
lucky.
This morning, I um I could eat until 5, and it had to be a very limited diet. It had to be protein or an extremely small selection of vegetables.
Right.
Extremely boring.
Well, they made me do it 3 days, and I lost 9 pounds in 3 days.
I bet. I know.
It's funny because that's the Atkins diet,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
that's actually a really good diet for anti-inflammation.
It's very similar to the Atkins diet or the
Yeah.
keto or whatever that
Yep.
is.
Yep.
Yeah, and I have to say that, it's probably not as nutritious as it should be, but cutting back on carbs and sugar is a good thing. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do now. So
I love
anyway, it's all good, and I hate to show up and be, Mr. Happy Jim, but I've really had a
Oh,
turnaround. So
we accept all. Like, we
Yeah.
actually like it when people come on with good news.
Yes, absolutely.
So you just got off your methotrexate. Are you on any other medications?
I am, but not anything to do with sarcoidosis. I just have a blood thinner that I take, good old Eliquis, which is the most expensive thing they can find.
I know.
Exactly.
And otherwise everything is good. So
Right. You still have your ICD, right?
I'm sorry.
You have an ICD.
Yes, I do.
So the deal I cut with my doctor when I wanted to get off of all my meds, the CellCept was a struggle. I had to get one more PET scan, being all clear before they would, release me off of that. And then even like metoprolol for the heart, I'm like, I don't like it. Makes me weak. It makes me tired. And like, no, I'm like, listen, I have an ICD. You're monitoring my heart 24/7. Like, if it starts picking up, then maybe I'll go back on my metoprolol. But right now, I want to try it without it. And I've been off it for a year.
That's
I'm
great.
on no medication right now.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Good for
Yeah.
you, Kevin.
Yeah, good for you.
I remember those days when I didn't have to take pills in the morning.
I know.
Right?
I remember those days when I was taking 14 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I was just tight. So I mean, some of them were multiple pills, but yeah.
I take 10 in the morning. No, that's not right. Yeah, I take 10 in the morning. It's ridiculous.
So that's my story. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
congratulations.
Kathleen, bring
Yes.
us up to date. What's going on?
I've had a hard June, but I want to give good news first. So, Cleveland Clinic, as you all know, I did go visit the Cleveland Clinic and I got to see Regina and have a beautiful day. So he put me on something called sirolimus, which is for organ transplants. However, for the past 4 months, I have not needed even one dose of prednisone. And I'm
Oh,
off
Yay.
that kind of stuff.
Anything to get off your prednisone. Awesome.
Yeah. So no infusions or anything like that. While I was in the hospital, we also talked about some medications. So I've taken some and discontinued them. I don't have high blood pressure. They were giving me a blood pressure pill. My blood pressure is always low. So I took it away. I guess it's been 2 weeks, and I had my blood pressure taken today. It was perfect.
Nice.
And I missed another pill. Don't care, you know?
Another one bites the dust.
And that's just what I'm trying to do, is piece by piece trying to get rid of as much as I can. So I was telling you guys that I landed in the hospital. I had a root canal. It didn't work. She gave me back my money. I had to go to an oral surgeon. He pulled it. 2 days later, had a dry socket. Went back to him. He put a strip with iodine, soaked in iodine, shoved it up there with that little pointy thing as I'm screaming in pain. And I was screaming. Anyway, a lot went down my throat. Next morning, I woke up. I had diarrhea and vomiting. So I went back to him because I needed to get the thing out anyway. And he's like, well, I sent you doxycycline just in case it's an infection. I said, so is it infected? He goes, no, but I sent it anyway. Okay. He's like, listen, if you don't want the iodine again, I said, hell no. No way. I had a lot that went down my throat. So He said, go to St. Charles in Port Jefferson, New York, and they have dental residents. Well, as I was telling you guys, I waited 8 hours in a waiting room with only 2 people in front. They are not a trauma place. So I figured it would be easy. It was another 3 hours till I got my first IV bag with dehydration. So they said I had norovirus and diverticulitis.
Oh,
Never
terrific.
had diverticulitis in my life because I eat pretty bland. But be that what it may, they gave me Levaquin and Flagyl. Flagyl definitely changed my smell and my taste. They were on like overdrive. I couldn't sit next to the dogs. Their breath was just literally making me want to barf. Joe
Wow.
made toast. I told him, no more toast because the smell was bothering me. So, but anyway, so they brought me up to a room at 2:30 in the morning, and I met the nurse. Anytime I would press the button, nobody would come. I was in a room by myself because they thought I had C. diff. I said to them, "There's no possibility I have C. diff. I've had it for less than 24 hours." And they wanted a sample anyway. Well, I hate to say it, but they got a really good sample because I was leaking on the way to the bathroom. Joe was behind me. That's my husband. Joe puts down the hat, and I'm like, you should step out of the room right now. Because when you have diarrhea, it's explosive. Well, in a plastic hat, what do you think about that? It was on the walls, it was on the ceiling, it was on everything.
Oh dear.
Clean
Okay?
up on aisle 2.
I had to
And
be cleaned up.
tan too.
Yeah, I had to be cleaned up. I had to throw away my clothes, get a pair of scrubs from them. So, but when I made it up to the room finally at 2:30 in the morning, it was redecorating. I love you.
Alexa.
Did everybody see what Alexa wrote? Okay, just want to make sure. So then the doctor comes in about 9:30 in the morning. Now realize I haven't seen anybody since I got up into that room. They closed the door. There's no window. There's no nothing. And doctor comes in and he's like, "Oh, you brushing your teeth?" I said, "Well, I'm attempting it because nobody else comes here to help me. All night I went to the bathroom by myself, in and out of the bed." He goes, "Oh, that wasn't good." I pressed the button. Nobody came. So he says, "How come your IV's not working?" I'm sorry, what did you just say? You diagnosed me with dehydration, and you're telling me I'm not getting any IV fluids? No. I said, that's it. Get me, I used the F word, and I was very strong. Get me the F out of here. Take this IV out. You have 15 minutes before I call 911. Nurse manager came in. She's like, well, you do know it's going to be against medical advice. I said, against medical advice? You guys aren't even giving me fluids. I said, I'm out. Peace out. I have written letters to the state and things like that about everything that went on. So came home. Friday was okay. Saturday was eh. By Sunday, I was so weak I couldn't even walk down the hall to the bathroom. And I finally got to the bathroom. I was going to try and brush my teeth a little bit just with water because again, the mint tasting was everything was huge, and I felt like I was going to pass out. So I just sat on the floor and called for my husband Joe, who came and just held me till I woke up again. Called 911, went by ambulance to Stony Brook. Stony Brook was a zoo. There were 8 ambulances in the bay. But thankfully, they took care of me. They diagnosed me with extreme dehydration, which I still am, coronavirus,
Oh
and
no.
they did not see diverticulitis, nor the osis, nor the pocket of fluid that supposedly St. Charles said I had. Oh, that was so. This woman who wanted to do a sonogram said you have to drink this much water, and then I have to do the sonogram. I looked at her. I go, "Ma'am, why don't you go see the bathroom? I have diarrhea. There's no way that I'm holding in that much water. She's like, so you're denying the test? Yes. Bye.
This was at St. Charles or at Stony Brook?
St. Charles.
It
Stony
sounds
Brook, I'm telling you, I always heard bad things about Stony Brook, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I press that button, that nurse all of a sudden arrived within 30 seconds. The food was delicious. I'm okay, you know. So I was there for 3 or 4 nights in like 5 days. So it's good to be home, but I don't have the energy whatsoever. Is what it is, right?
so. Do you still have corona?
No, and it wasn't the normal COVID-19. They said this one that I tested positive for. Now, my antibodies, since I got 3 shots, I don't know why, but my antibodies have never come down. I'm at a very large number. I could look it up if you want on Quest, but it always says high. So they
Because
said
your shot,
this coronavirus
your
is,
shot is continuing to make spike
mm,
antigen. Your body has to fight that.
mine are huge, huge antigens. So this coronavirus that they said was congestion, coughing, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to tell you honestly, I didn't have any of that. I don't know if they put it down so that they could keep me in the hospital with dehydration. I mean, it came back that on the paperwork it says it's positive, but I don't know.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
Sounds like you have to take each one of those diagnoses with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll have a colonoscopy and an endoscopy in a couple of months. But the good part was when I got out of the hospital on the 28th and 29th, the 29th specific, I was on the conference for the FSR. I was actual speaker for exercise, and sarcoidosis and exercise. So, and supposedly it was the best one of the whole conference. That's what I keep being told by the FSR. So they're going to do more of those. And then John Carlin was there, so I know that he has already interviewed Kevin and Regina, and he's like, hey, I didn't interview you. No, let's do it. So it's at the end of the book.
Nice.
No. So that's it for me. Good and bad.
Are you still doing your wheelchair dancing?
You know, I have been, but since I've gotten sick with the hospital and everything, I was supposed to have it tomorrow night. I can't. I don't have my energy back.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor said it's going to be months. You know,
do you have anyone who can carry on when you're not 100%?
No, that's the sad part. I know. So
Kathleen is irreplaceable, Kevin. Why would you ask that?
no, I'm not.
Because of all those people that want to dance with their wheelchair partners.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. So I'm going to go to Regina's creative writing course tomorrow since I no longer have to do dance tomorrow. And anytime that I don't have dance, I'm coming to your class, lady. And that's about
That's segue. That's a natural segue for Regina.
Mm-hmm.
Regina, how are you doing today?
I'm still sick, but finally had my CT scan for my sinuses. I had a bunch of blood work done last month. I had about 16 vials of blood removed. Yeah. It was not good because they wanted to do the pricks on my back because I had allergy tested. But because I take mycophenolate, they could not do the pricks on the back because it would have messed up something. So they did the blood work and they did 16 vials. So,
Oof.
yeah, and they tested me. And let me tell y'all, I'm not allergic to anything that they tested me for, but I know for a fact I have a lot of allergies. And I believe it has to do with having a bum immune system because they now gave me an EpiPen. Now, I'm going to tell you what's really, really funny. I'm allergic to Candida albicans.
Huh.
And it's very, very high.
Mm-hmm.
Candida albicans is yeast, and your own
Mhm.
body produces that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But it can get
That's
an
crazy.
overgrowth.
Huh?
You can get an overgrowth,
Yeah.
Yes.
and your
And
pH gets out of balance, and then
Yep.
it takes off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's crazy. So
Fluconazole.
I called the ENT when I saw that blood work, and I asked him, I said, um, what am I going to do about that? Because that's, for me, that's a concern.
Yeah.
And they could not even answer that question. I mean, they was like nonchalant about it, like it's not anything to worry about. Well, I'm in Atlanta. By the way, I was on vacation
Oh.
in Atlanta. I got that call for them to talk to me, right? And then I got sick. I wound up getting in a flare. My skin got real fleshy. I got a knot on where my watch is, a knot start rising out of nowhere. And it got real fleshy. I got a big red, dark purple lesion on my arm. I got real sick. My head started hurting really, really bad. I knew I was going into some kind of flare or going into overdrive or something. I had to go home.
Mm.
I took pictures of my lesions, sent them to my dermatologist, and I left a message for my ENT. I left a message for my dermatologist. My ENT, I swear something's wrong with them. But they called me as I was driving. I had my mom with me. She's 82. We on vacation. Also had an event down there, and I was also going to go see my brother. I cut the part out to go see my brother because I wasn't feeling good and I had weird stuff happening to me. So we took off and went home on Tuesday. So I get a call from the ENT while driving. So I'm talking to them because I needed to know about the Candidus albicans. I needed to know, what do I do about all of that? Is there anything that's oral that you could take for it, or is there anything that I need to be aware of, knowing the fact that I have a rare disease and all this stuff? All they were concerned about is I have a sinus disease. So, what's the sinus disease? They couldn't even tell me that. Well, okay, so y'all don't know what that is. So, I called my dermatologist and explained to them exactly what was going on. So, they got back with me. I got home Tuesday night about 10 o'clock. So, Wednesday morning, my dermatologist finally calls me and said, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? They were like, we got you. We're going to give you some steroids. So today is my last day for a 7-day span of steroids. And y'all know I don't normally take steroids, but they figured my body needed it. Now, you also know I've been having post nasal drip for over a year. Let me tell y'all, that steroid has helped my post nasal drip. And my dermatologist got me in to the doctor on Monday. I saw them on Monday. They also said to me, well, we're not sinus people, because I said, you also have permission to get my records from the ENT. And they looked at my records. They said for the Candidus albicans, um, the numbers, your numbers are high, but not to really worry about it, but we're going to keep an eye on it, because that means you're more susceptible because of your immune system, and that you might have to up your mycophenolate, because mycophenolate helps suppress the immune system, so things like that won't happen. And then they wanted to know who is the prescriber for your mycophenolate. I said, my pulmonologist. So they said, okay, we're going to write a note and we're going to send that off to the pulmonologist. I told them I felt like the ENT just want to do surgery.
Mm.
So she explained to me what they probably may do. They may want to just clean it all out and see what they can do. And they, like me, believe it's sarcoid related. Because I told her, I said, as soon as y'all put me on that steroid, I got a lot of relief up there because prior to all of that, they gave me 4 different types of nose drops. None of them worked. So I stopped taking them. So why take nose drops when none of that stuff works? And I had already told them none of it works. Then I asked them, is there any type of other kind of allergy medicine that they can give me that's stronger, that's going to be able to help me out? And so they called me, the ENT, and said, this is what we can give you. I said, nope, none of them won't work either. So now that's why I have to carry an EpiPen, because years ago I used to have the allergy shots and I could not take those allergy shots. After being on the allergy shots for so long, I wind up being allergic to the allergy shots because no joke.
I'm laughing because when I was young, I had a lot of allergies, hay fever, and cats and dogs and horses, and so I went and got the standard panel or the dot test on the back where they prick you with, and I was allergic to everything. It
Oof.
turned out that I was allergic to whatever the substance was to deliver the liquid in the drops, not necessarily each individual component.
Interesting.
So I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I'm in a catch-22 situation. I'm not allergic to what they, from the stuff that they did the testing to. I'm the basic stuff. But I know I'm allergic to something because I'm always sneezing, eyes are always tearing, my nose is always dripping. So what am I allergic to? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could
If you're allergic to that candida and you have an overgrowth, you're allergic to your
My
Your own
own
body.
body.
byproduct of your microbiome.
Yep.
or could it
So
could all the symptoms be caused by sarcoid, or so it's
Well,
not an allergy?
that's what my dermatologist thinks. That all these symptoms is really related to my sarcoid. And there's probably not a doggone thing that anybody can do. I'm just gonna be tearing off at the eyes. I have an eye drop that I use, and that my eye doctor told me to use, and that bottle is like $26. Like you can find it at Walmart for $26, and it works very well. But for the rest of me, what am I going to do?
the
So
one thing that came to mind is like there's an anti-inflammatory diet, there's a keto diet, there's a Wahls protocol. There is a specific candida diet, and I just took a quick peek at it just to see, and it's very anti-sugar, anti-alcohol, anti-fast food, anti like processed food, and there's very specific foods that you can take like coconut oil and things like that that help to suppress the candida growth.
That's good.
And do you know where you're getting the overgrowth? Is it like thrush in your mouth? Because
no,
when I was on prednisone, I had like 3 rounds of thrush.
no, it's
Like
not
you
in
just
my
had like
mouth.
this fuzz in your mouth,
Yeah.
Mm.
and that
Well,
was from the prednisone.
I don't think I have it. I'm just allergic to it. But the problem is, I need to do something about it so that I don't get it. Or
Right.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
you have it. It's in your body. It's
Huh?
always in your body.
Mm-hmm.
The candida is always in your body.
Yep.
Or that I
Always in
don't
your
get
gut.
overgrowth. Because I'm like, because the first thing we have 2 nurses in my family, and I called them to tell them about it. And the first thing they say is, "Don't get a yeast infection." So I'm like,
Okay. How do I do that?
ain't nobody trying to do that. I was
Mm.
like, but that's the first thing they said. And then my one niece added, She said, that's your immune system. That's exactly what she said. That's your immune system. I'm like, wow. So,
So if the immune system is weak, then you can have an overgrowth of candida. Because I
Your
actually
immune system
thought,
is supposed to keep it all in balance.
yeah.
oh, interesting.
And most of the medications that we take with sarcoidosis are immune regulators,
Yes.
modulators, or they're tweaking your immune system. So
Yep.
over time, what's the long-term effects of doing that for 25 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another medical mystery to be solved.
And how are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing good. Still down in Naples, getting serious about finding a better place to live. I've had been in the same place for just about 3 years, um, and it's kind of run its course. It's small. I need some more space, and I'm staying over at a friend's house right now with my girlfriend, and we're just hanging out, getting some work done, and doing this thing called life. But it's been beautiful. That's That's the 10th hole right behind me, and I just walk out and play a couple of holes and come back, and it's been a beautiful environment.
I've been waiting for you to pop up on my doorstep.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up maybe after the call, but now that you're here, the front end of that trip got canceled. We were going to be heading to St. Louis yesterday, and just made the choice that it was too much, and we were going to do this whole loop around Indiana and Poconos and back down the East Coast, and it just was a little too adventurous right now. So
I understand.
I'm gonna have to take a rain check.
I understand.
Yeah,
Life.
yeah, it's a lot going on. But I'm still on no medication. My energy levels not where I want it, but it's tolerable, and I'm getting my exercise in. Jim had to run. Um, so yeah, thanks for asking. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 7.5. A little bit of
Oh,
pain from arthritis here and there, and
yeah.
just trying to stay active and limber.
So what does everybody think about cruises?
Cruises?
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I've never been on a cruise.
No, we're thinking of going on one next January.
Where are you gonna go?
Well, it's a 10-day, and we do the Southern Caribbean for the most part. The
Oh,
only one,
nice. That's beautiful.
last
Oh,
one
that
that
sounds
we've seen everything except for the ones that will be going on. Um, and there's just one other that we want to do, Bermuda, but one day we may just fly into Bermuda, have a nice weekend, and fly the heck out.
Yep.
I'm worried
Uh,
about illnesses I feel like it's a big petri dish.
yeah, there's a lot of humanity cramped into a little space,
Yeah,
but
we got to live, right? Isn't that what?
that's right. You gotta live your life.
If our
Um,
numbers up, our numbers are up, regardless if we go on a cruise or where.
yep. That's the way I look at it. I'm heading down to St. Eustatius.
Okay.
to where?
St. Eustatius. It's in
Where's
the
that?
Caribbean.
Oh,
Um, it's I'm flying into St. Kitts, I believe, and then
Mhm.
taking a ferry over to Eustatius. It's a dive trip,
Oh,
so
good
it's
for you.
7 days of diving.
Good for
oh,
you.
It's been
Your
a
lungs
long
are
time.
still good for that?
Good enough. I got certified earlier this year. Spent a lot
Okay.
of time in the Keys diving. I got certified to go. It was in order to get your advanced certification, so you can go anywhere in the world and go diving and use nitrox and all that
hmm
stuff.
hmm
I needed to go on a dive to 100 feet,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot of pressure.
Yes.
And I have an ICD.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going diving, you have a regulator in your mouth,
Yep.
goggles on,
Yep.
and that's it. And if my ICD goes off, there's no guarantee I'm going to maintain consciousness.
Right.
Wow.
So I did my research, and I'm looking at the ICD. It's rated to 3 atmospheres, which is like 66 feet.
Okay.
So I did 2 things. One, I got a full face mask.
Okay.
So I don't have a regulator in my mouth. I have a full face mask. I'm breathing, even if I lose consciousness.
Okay, that's good. That was smart.
So that was the backup plan,
Mm-hmm.
or actually, primary plans. Safety first.
Right.
And then I went down to 100 feet. I dove the Vandenberg. It was gorgeous. It was a great trip. Went back up. I didn't make it down the second time. I couldn't clear my nose, so I went down to
Oh.
like 50 feet and was like, nah, I'm out.
Yep.
And I don't ever have to go back down that deep.
All
Most of
right.
the best diving's in 30 to 50 feet anyway.
It is true, especially in the Caribbean.
Yep. So
Yeah,
that's going to be in November.
Okay, good. Yeah, Joe and I are both certified, but the pulmonologist said, no, no, no. No. The best place that we were was in St. Thomas, and we took a small plane over to Saba, which is another island.
Nice.
And it's a volcanic island. It's gorgeous. I got to see a moray eel, a whole bunch of stuff.
Were you snorkeling?
No,
Or
I
did
was
you go
diving.
diving?
Yeah,
Nice.
this is before sarcoidosis.
So I guess my experience was, it was fine.
Okay, cool.
My pulmonary function tests are slightly below normal
Mm-hmm.
for my age, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And my cardio could be better. And my aura ring is telling me I have a low cardiovascular capacity. Duh. But yeah, like you're diving 30, 40 minutes at a time.
Yep.
You're not really
Exerting.
exerting yourself
Yep.
much
Yep.
unless you have to, and that's where the risk is. Like
Right.
you're caught in a current, you got to swim back to the boat.
Yep.
You got to swim back to the boat.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Exactly.
yeah, I was getting some cramps and stuff like that. So when I go out boating, I always take 20 minutes in the river and get my kicking in and try and keep up on my fitness.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I can't wait. I gotta buy some more equipment and I gotta buy an underwater camera
Okay.
so I can take some pictures.
Can't wait to see it.
And then I guess the next call would be I have to look at the calendar. I think I'm going the first week in November. So depending on the timing of what day that is,
Mm-hmm.
I may actually still be in St. Eustatius when we have our November call.
Nice. That'll be fun.
I'll have a little presentation set up for you guys.
All right. I'm going to look forward to that.
What life looks like under the water.
Yeah.
Especially in November, that will be good to see.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice time to be down there. It's nice and warm still, and it's not so hot.
That's a
Water's still warm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that sounds wonderful.
All right. Retire to someplace warm. So where are you thinking of moving, Kevin?
I'll probably stay in Naples proper. I'm just looking for like a single family house without crazy HOA fees. That's the whole thing that gets you down here.
Yeah.
Is oh yeah, it's it's a nice size house. The payments $1,200, $1,500, whatever, and your HOA fees are $800 a month.
Oh my God.
Maintenance and
Do you have to be in an HOA?
No, you don't. There's some properties down here that have no HOAs. They're just single family homes. But then you're responsible for all your own landscaping and maintenance, and the HOAs are nice, but they just tend to be very expensive.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them in Florida, am I correct?
Oh yeah,
situation?
and there's a bit of a crisis right now. So like 5 years ago, there was this Surfside condominium in Miami
Okay.
Oh,
that
right.
collapsed.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
half the building just fell down.
I remember
And
seeing
literally,
that.
people making coffee heard this rumble and turned around, and they're literally like
Hmm.
the rest of their house is gone.
Yeah.
A lot of people died. It was terrible, and it was all because the HOAs didn't do the maintenance that they were being told they had to do.
Mm.
So now they have to recertify buildings. They have to inspect foundations, and they have to not just do the inspection, but you have to bring it up to code.
Right. Right.
So some of these older buildings that have been around for 25, 50 years, like I owned a condo for like 6 months. It was an investment property. We flipped it and we sold it. They have no gutters in the back.
Hmm.
So for
Okay.
50 years, all those tropical storms are just running off the back of the house and down onto the foundation for 50
Oh my
years.
God.
Wow.
And they were just starting their assessments. And our HOAs doubled between when we bought the house and when we sold it.
Wow.
And that didn't even cover any special assessments as a result of finding things because the building's 50 years old. So there's a lot of people that, you know, are getting hit with $150,000 assessments.
Oh my
And you have to
God.
pay it or they take your house back.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a bit of a crisis.
Oh, I could not live in a place like that. Aside from, I don't really want to live in Florida, but yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, Regina, can you give us details on the call tomorrow?
What are we
Oh,
doing?
What are we doing
um,
tomorrow?
tomorrow's call, the writing assignment is to write about a terrible boss that you've had and how that affected your health and how did you rectify that.
Okay, and that starts at 7 o'clock.
It starts at 6 o'clock and it ends at 7:30.
And we need to submit our writing before.
No, nope.
Oh, so we don't need to write it ahead of time?
You can write it because we'll share it in the call, but you don't have to submit it to me.
Okay.
Okay, so you're just reading what you wrote. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Great.
finally got mine read this week. This week, I've been busy.
I think I'll be able to come tomorrow.
Cool.
That'd be great. It's a great group of people. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed last
it's well
month.
attended too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I love it. We
I'm
have
looking
fun in
forward to it. That's right in your wheelhouse. You
there.
go, girl.
Yeah.
You really do a great job moderating.
Huh?
You do a great job moderating that.
I'll be getting some messages in my email talking about they are so glad that they have this group and thank you, and it's funny because one person sends me their writing like every month. I was like, you don't have to send it unless I say so. So, but it's so funny. They love sending the writings to me. I'm like, only time you send in writing is if I say so. Oh, one other thing is too now, um, one of the other things that we started doing is on our writing prompts. Some
Mm.
of our writing prompts we are now highlighting in the newsletters that come out, and then we are highlighting them also on the website as well too. So because we
Nice.
want to gain more interest in the writing group. So,
Yeah, that newsletter or the call for the meeting is getting longer and longer. We got the art gallery, writing group, freely. Oh, that's talking freely. New group.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm really really impressed with and grateful for AnCan. You know,
Me
it's
too.
been a blessing in my life, and I get
Mine
a lot
too.
about just giving back and staying connected with this community has been very valuable for me. We could use a few more people, but I don't know.
I'm
I don't
trying.
get it.
There was supposed to be someone new in my area, about 40 minutes away. She,
So they changed the rules on Reddit for the
oh,
sarcoidosis community,
yeah,
where any post now gets screened,
oh, that's
Hmm.
Facebook too.
and I
That's
they're
everywhere now.
blocking the announcement that I was putting in
Oh, that's weird.
for. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh no, they're promoting something. You're not allowed to do that. I'm like, come on.
It's a support group. It's not like you're asking for
I'm not,
money,
I'm not selling anything.
It's not like we're selling Regina's jewelry online.
right? Mm.
Hmm.
uh,
By the way, I'm not doing too bad with my jewelry, especially at my market. I make money every week at my market now. So I am like totally stoked on that. So I'm not doing too bad. So
that's great.
That's
starting to
good.
starting to pick up events. Um, but I'm still cautious on the events because I don't want to pay out the wazoo for a booth.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
So,
But you're
and
there with people and you're marketing, you're giving cards out, and they can come later if they.
that was the reason for going to Atlanta, plus to see family. So it was twofold when I went to Atlanta. And Atlanta was more of a networking type deal. Um, and I did share a booth with my daughter. So, and I gained some more followers on my Instagram account as well. So, which
Right.
was a big help. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And are you using that for marketing? Like, oh, here's a new piece. Here's the
Yeah.
link to the site.
I use my
Nice.
TikTok, my Instagram, and my Facebook. I have a Facebook business page, but I do use them all for marketing, and my personal Facebook as well. I use that for marketing as well too. So
Are you using anything to all those social media sites at the same time?
yes, I use it all at the same time. Sometimes I'll post, individually at different times. Um, like
What
I
do
just
you?
posted one about all of my gemstone bracelets with my hand moving and
Mm.
doing all of this. And I was shocked because it was the first time I did it almost simultaneously. And then my daughter caught on to it and she reposted it. And I got like on Instagram alone, 343 views on it, which
Wow.
was amazing because it was the very first video I got. Well, probably like the second or third that I got that many views, that big of a reach. So I'm getting better. So
Regina, what's your handle on Instagram?
it is uniquely Sark
Uniquely,
LLC. Uh-huh.
uniquely Sark.
Oh, yeah. It starts
Ah,
like
Alexa,
Oh, Alexa
found it.
just put it in the.
yep.
Ah, okay. I will follow you.
thank you.
I take that back. We are selling our jewelry online.
Regina is just glad because she recently offloaded a very demanding client.
Alexa, what are you doing to her? Are you terrorizing her?
I think she would probably tell you I wasn't that bad, but
Yeah. I did a really beautiful, gorgeous piece for Alexa. I had been working on it for quite some time, and she just got it delivered a couple of weeks ago. So I can't wait to see her in it.
Oh, in it.
In it?
Yes, I'm very excited. Yeah, like the necklace, the earrings, and stuff.
Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah.
She didn't make me like a chainmail armory set or anything, but she might. I don't know. I reserve the right to need that.
I think that's her next product category.
there you go.
Oh, it was just